And Trap News Network, we back in the same. Like you're cracking this thing, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of the content we got going on here at 10. Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Good knowledge, though. You ain't finna get nobody's college, though. Big dog, tap in with that tap in. And make sure you're, in fact, tapped in with that good tap in. You feel me, man? We finna slide over back to Cedric of Nashington. Shout out to Ceddy Nash. Make sure you tap in with the tap in. Man. Cedric Nashington giving us this good newsington. You can usington. That full breakdown of Brig Baby's paperwork coming from Cedric Nashington. Shout out to Ceddy Nash, man. He's giving us this good content. We finna jump into this content, man. Make sure y'all like, make sure y'all comment, make sure y'all hit that good subscribe button for everything we got going on here at 10 and Trap News Network. Make sure you get into that news you can use. Make sure you get into that knowledge. You ain't finna get nobody's college, big dog. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that good subscribe button for everything we have going on here at 10 and Trap News Network. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that good subscribe button. We need y'all to hit that like, hit that comment, hit that subscribe. Notification bell, hit all. Man at the Garden. Please don't touch my God body on the fairy tales. Won't forget Boogeyman. They all out now. Tap in with that and richtraphouse.com. We finna jump back into this paperwork where Brig Baby was accused of picking up ex-workers. Oh boy, it's finna get ugly. Let's get into it. Let's go.
2 years confinement, so he did 2 years. All right. According to certified conviction records and police reports for original crime, police saw a sex worker enter defendant's car. And defendant then sped off seeing police. Defendant led police on a high-speed chase through stop sign.
Not doing the dash with the prosty in the car? Oh my God.
The red lights. At some point, defendant pushed the...
My bad. Not this nigga. Boy.
Well, probation, a violation of which resulted in 2 years confinement. So he did 2 years. All right. According to certified conviction records and police reports for original crime, police saw a sex worker enter defendant's car. And defendant then sped off seeing police. Defendant led police on a high-speed chase through stop signs and red lights. At some point, defendant pushed the female out of the moving vehicle. Brick is a wild.
That nigga threw the girl out the car. Nigga, who is you, Gucci, man? This nigga Brick is a wild boy. Call him Steve O. He is a wild guy.
Goddamn, Brick. You pushed the hoe out. At some point, defendant pushed the female out of the moving vehicle. The victim landed on her face, and defendant ran over her thigh with his car. The victim later stated that she asked to be let out multiple times, but defendant refused until he later threw her out. Brick is a monster. Goddamn. The victim also stated that the defendant said he had something he needed to get rid of during the chase and threw a handgun out the window. Yeah, of course she gonna snitch on you. Nigga, you pushed the hoe out the moving vehicle and ran her thigh over. 2012 to 2014. Sorry. Narcotics convictions. Upon his release in 2012, defendant was arrested for transportation of controlled substances and ultimately sentenced to 365 days in jail and 3 years probation. That probation was later revoked after defendant admitted to violating it. 5 months after that arrest, but before that sentence, he was arrested for the same crime in Nevada and ultimately sentenced to 4 years probation. In 2013, he was arrested for and by 2014 convicted of possession of a controlled substance. Defendant later received misdemeanor relief for that conviction, but he thereafter violated his probation. 2016 criminal threats conviction. On August 2nd, 2016, defendant was convicted of criminal threats and sentenced to 2 years in state prison, although he was given yet another opportunity with a suspension, of the execution of the sentence and 3 years formal probation. He violated that probation multiple times, even receiving a no bail bench warrant for his failure to appear for a violation hearing. 2020 robbery conviction. On October 7, 2020, defendant was convicted of robbery and sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. This arrest also featured a high-speed chase and barricade incident that defendant glamorized in his music. Come on, bro. Brig Baby, Life Behind the Gates official video, one take down. So this is them showing you that music video. Misdemeanors, arrest.
The music video is in the indictment. Goodness gracious.
And other conduct. As a juvenile, defendant was charged with carrying a concealed weapon, robbery, and minor in a possession of a weapon. He has further arrests for narcotic sales, many failures to appear in multiple states, obstruction, multiple felon in possession charges, false statements, flight, assault with a deadly weapon, multiple fugitive from justice warrants, inflicting corporal injury on spouse, criminal threats, and multiple robberies. Defendant also has misdemeanor convictions and an infraction involving arrest for taking a vehicle without consent, driving on a suspended license, and domestic violence. Defendant's crimes do not pertain only to violence and weapon possession. Defendant is currently under investigation for fraudulently applying for FEMA benefits by claiming to be a renter of a property in Pasadena, California, destroyed in a...
They got him for the money. That same thing, man. That COVID cash. Barnacles.
Eaton fire in January 2020. Moreover, in his digital devices seized during his previous arrest, defendant was in possession of multiple social security numbers, addresses, and other personal identifying information that he had bought on WhatsApp. Defendant even had a photograph of a driver's license with his photograph, but a different name, address, and state. Defendant was detained based on risk of flight and danger. On March 19, 2025, this court ordered defendant detained pending trial based on risks of non-appearance and danger to the community. This court found detention to be appropriate based on defendant's history and characteristics, including his criminal record of fugitive arrest and violating parole and probation conditions, as well as insufficient bail resources and defendant's safety risk due to the nature and seriousness of the instant charges and his criminal history, which includes numerous convictions, some of which were violent. Argument. Legal standards for pretrial detention. A defendant must be detained pending trial where no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the appearance of the person as required and the safety of any other person in the community. 18 U.S.C. 3142E1. Detention is thus appropriate for a defendant who is either a danger to the community or a flight risk. United States versus, we ain't tripping on that. The Bail Reform Act mandates an individual evaluation guided by the factors articulated, the nature and circumstances of the offense charged, included whether the offense is a crime of violence, the weight of the evidence against the defendant's character, physical and mental condition, family and community ties, past conduct, history relating to drug or alcohol abuse, criminal history, and the nature and seriousness of the danger to any person or to the community that would be posed by the defendant's release. United States versus Windsor. Defendant should remain detained. All of the 3142G factors justify ordering defendant to remain detained pending trial. Nature and circumstances of the offenses. The nature and circumstances of the defendant's offenses unequivocally weigh in favor of detention. Defendant's offenses possessing multiple firearms on multiple occasions and over 125 rounds of ammunition, some of which he fired, are serious. That defendant fired at would-be robbers in a business parking lot and less than a year later was found with firearms after purportedly pointing them at his partner and child only confirmed the defendant should not be possessed of firearms, not to mention his multiple prior felony convictions, each of which alone prohibit him from possessing them.
So basically, Brick Baby riding around with all these blickies is making it sticky and making it icky, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have been doing all this, but you know, here it is.
Continued possession of another firearm and even more ammunition at his home with his child during his latest arrest only further corroborates the need for his detention. Moreover, defendant faces a statutory maximum of 15 years for each count. God damn. As currently charged due to defendant's extensive criminal history, likely rendering him in criminal history category 5, and with enhancements for the type and number of firearms and obstruction of justice, defendant faces a likely guidelines range of 92 to 115 months imprisonment based on total offense level of 24. Below are the guidelines and calculations based on the information currently known. Base level 23 firearms, 2 obstruction, 2. The severity of potential penalties, involved arguments, defendant's risk of non-appearance. See United States versus Brenham. We're just going to go down. Risk of non-appearance, defendant facing fraud charges that expose him to a range of just 57 to 71 months imprisonment, as courts have recognized such a lengthy sentence provides a significant incentive to flee, and given defendant's criminal history category, he is facing a guideline sentence of nearly 10 years. So, there y'all go. Brick is facing 10 years in the feds, bruh. God, dog.
Goodness gracious, man. Red Dots to the left. Y'all know the rest, man. Free Avenue Angel till he's free. This going to get uglier before it gets better. We're going to keep y'all updated, though, man. Let's keep going into this later on, man. Free Avenue Angel till he's free. We gone.